Whoa, probably look a lot different than you thought I did, huh? Because, by voice you can never really tell how someone will look. Probably a lot chubbier than you would have thought. But I want to make a video about something that's kind of been irritating me lately. And there's something about culture that I think is often forgotten. If you're going to a forum, like a YouTube comment section or something like that, if you make a criticism, inevitably, by the fans of the person, you'll usually get people saying, "Why are you commenting? What are you doing on here, why?" And acting like you shouldn't be there if you're not gonna like it. And if you're the creator, usually the creator might use this too, but they'll often add a, "Hey, I'm not gonna change anything." And acting like that invalidates your criticism. And those memes can, happen because I think people forget that criticism is done for its own sake. People often act like they're trying to change something. Go watch something like Angry Video Game Nerd, Retsupre, Nostalgia Critic, any kind of really, sarcastic critic like that. Tell me they're watching that to change something. Really. That's not just entertainment, right? Because that's what criticism is. It's entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why. Now, just because I think that that you can't just say all by blanket, all criticism is bad, just if you don't want to hear it, I don't think every bit of criticism is always done. I'm not saying all criticism is valid or that it's all done in good taste. I get that. I get some criticism can be inane. But these arguments, when people do what I just described, they're usually acting like criticism should only be done if you're trying to change something. And I'm not saying that criticism should be hateful, should be really harsh, it should be really insulting. But it's just done for the fun of it. I'm sorry. Most of the time, anyway. And so I can envision people telling me I'm being sort of hypocritical because I'm criticizing people for criticizing people, basically. But it's the type of criticism this is. It's the nature of this criticism. And I'm not saying it's bad simply because it's criticism. It's because of the specific type of what it said, the message itself, basically. Now sometimes indeed people act like you should only criticize if it's going to change something, and that if they don't want to hear it, your criticism becomes invalid all of a sudden, and that other people can't get use from it. There's always the other kind of extreme. Acting like people can get really self-important about criticism. Again, usually it's a forgetting of the fact that it's done for its own sake, and usually what this results in, being very self-important about your criticism, acting like it's something you're doing that's important, it's improving the world, when really you're just having fun. When you act like that, there's also another big issue. I usually like to call this the "I'm leaving, goodbye, look at me" speech, and it basically, if you ever unsub from a channel, or if you block someone from a forum or something like that, and then you tell them "I'm blocking you" or "I'm unsubbing from you," acting like that's something important. I mean, I understand putting out criticism. Maybe I'm going to sound hypocritical because I'm saying that my criticism for its own sake is okay, but that this criticism shouldn't be done for its own sake. But you have to realize that there's different contexts, right? If I were at a rally and I just shouted something, would that be weird? No. Would that look like I'm an attention whore? No, since everyone else is doing it. But if that same action were to be done at a funeral, or at a library or a church or a place that you need to be really quiet at, yeah, it would look like an attention grab, basically. So, and in this way, criticism for its own sake, it's not bad just because it's criticism, but this specific one it's not important really to anyone that you're leaving. Like, why should I care that you're not watching my channel, or why should I care that I can't comment on your video? Because people, I'm going to be honest here, people only respect other people for what you can give you at the end of the day. For, really close friends and people you're willing to die for, obviously, yeah. I'm talking about the internet specifically, mostly. Or if you're just talking about entertainment, like talking any kind of dynamics between the entertainer and the entertained, people paying for the product. With any of that, like the fact, if you're not going to let me, get entertainment, that's not something that I, well, okay, the offer's no longer on the table, so why do I care at that point? You're not giving me anything, so basically, I'm not getting anything, and then other people, like, if they're annoyed by me, I guess, but that's kind of, but you're not telling that for them, most likely. It's saying that you're doing it, that's probably the best rationale you can have for just telling people that you're unsubbing or you're blocking someone, so that, that there's some small astronomical chance somebody might care, but that's very dubious, because that criticism says nothing other than something that you're doing. And nobody else can get entertained by your criticism. Nobody else can give you feedback on it, or has any reason to, I should say. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying here is that criticism is done for its own sake. So don't just blanket say, wow, you're criticizing me, then I don't care about I'm not going to change anything, so your criticism is suddenly invalid. But at the same time, that's not saying that all criticism is valid. I mean, and that it's all smart. And really, it's not at the end of the day, it's really, unless it's especially good criticism, it's not that important to most people. At the end of the day, you really didn't do much. So I think a simple recognition of this fact, you're thrust back into debate, you're thrust back into engaging with people, and knowing that and you don't always have to care. That's the thing you need to remember. You don't have to care about what people say on the internet. So acting like other people should that creates barriers. And it gets in the way of productive debate for you. So I hope my face isn't too ugly. You have a nice day.